Hi, my name is Monterastelli, and the video you are about to watch is a recording from the 24 Hours of Tapping, which is an event that is held annually to support the Peaceful Heart Network. If you appreciate or learn anything from this video, the easiest way for you to say thank you is to support the work of the Peaceful Heart Network, who has worked with over 300,000 migrants, immigrants, prisoners, folks in disaster areas by bringing tapping to them. As you watch the video, across the bottom, you will see a link where you can support their amazing work. And I hope you enjoy this conversation. Kriss is an author, energy coach, speaker, and workshop facilitator. Kriss frequently speaks to diverse audiences, spreading a message of practical empowerment through faith, balanced energy, and spiritual wisdom, specialized in helping clients with anxiety and grief. Her practice is in its 18th year. Her first book, Energy Healing, Simple and Effective Practices to Become Your Own Healer, introduced new audiences to energy psychology, including EFT. Manifesting, her second book, distilled 10 years of her best metaphysical teaching. And her third book, Your Difference is Your Strength, was published in October 2023. Please welcome to the stage, who oftentimes when she speaks, the audience goes, I just felt like I went to church, my friend Kris Ferraro. How you doing, Kris?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this for weeks, and now here we're finally doing it.
And it is awesome to hear the strength of your voice. The last time you and I had a conversation, your voice was not nearly as strong. So I hope the fact that your voice is stronger is a reflection that you are healing as well as we navigate our way through all of this.
I'm about 80% there, but I'm going to be 100% for this. So
Awesomeness. Well, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
the question that I've been starting all these conversations out with is around your topic and why it is something that you are interested in. Like, why is balance something that you're interested in thinking about, responding to, finding our way to? Why is that something that you think is a valuable thing for us to be thinking about?
Well, often the topic usually chooses me, and it chooses me by the themes that I see that are coming up in my practice. And so
Yeah.
the themes that I've been seeing are people feeling really frustrated with trying to accomplish a particular goal, to either manifest something, to look at it from a spiritual perspective, or personal growth, just to create
Mhm.
a goal, and feeling really stuck in the practice. And what I have noticed is that these people are um, lacking balance in asserting control over that which is within their control, not only within their control, but they're the only ones that can do it. So
Yep.
they're sort of letting go of their responsibilities, and they're micromanaging the things that they need to surrender that are completely beyond their powers. And so I recognize that at the time that we are living in, that it is the best time to remember that we are powerful creators made in the image and the likeness of the one power. And so we have so much power within us, not only to create lives that we really love, but to be able to create on behalf of the benefit of others. And so when people are feeling really disempowered, I seem to come along and remind people about how much power we inherently have. But oftentimes we're just using our power in the wrong ways, or we just need a little tweak to get us going in the right direction, to be able to feel that confidence within ourselves of, wow, look, I made this happen.
And so as we're kind of like, that is something that is really clear for us to be shooting towards. What does it look and feel like when we are not there? Or what does it look and feel like when we are not heading in that direction? Or what does it look and feel like when I can intellectually maybe embrace that for 3 or 4 seconds before it becomes fleeting again, but it may not be landing and resonating and feeling real inside of my body?
It feels like chronic frustration, and
Mm.
there's a lot of that happening in the global systems that we are all a part of. You can hear it coming up in people's voices. There's this feeling of, I'm banging my head against this wall and I'm just not accomplishing. I'm putting out a huge amount of effort, but I'm not actually receiving or getting the results from that effort that I thought that I was going to. And so you see people sliding into pessimism, self-doubt, and a lot of discouragement and disappointment. So that's really a sign to me that something needs to be done differently.
Mhm. And so I recognize something needs to be done differently. Okay. Like there are lots of times in my life where I recognize something needs to be done differently. And that is simply a big arrow pointing at the thing that needs to be done differently. But that is not like that doesn't necessarily reveal what a step is after that. You
Yeah, that's
know?
absolutely well, that's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Yeah. So then what does that look like? So once I find myself to that place of recognition, like what is excuse me, what is a process or an approach or questions or when you're doing work on your own, when you're working with someone who's sitting across from you knee to knee or webcam to webcam, like what does that look like or how do we start to investigate that?
Well, one of the first things that I always approach with myself or a client is on clarity
Mhm,
because messy intentions, messy creative ideas, things that go in a lot of different directions don't create solid results or they
mhm,
don't create at all. And often, when I'm talking with a client and they'll say, "Well, I don't know exactly how I want this to look, or I don't know exactly how I want it to play out." What I do know is that they do know why they want to create this in their lives, but we can get overwhelmed. And so I love leading people in tapping, and I do this for myself often all the time because I have a tendency to overwhelm. I, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm juggling 50 different things. I'm an ADD person. So overwhelm is sort of a near constant companion for me. And so tapping on, I don't know. I don't
mm,
know what I want this to look like. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm not even sure why I want this. And very quickly moving into the I don't know allows some of that frustration to dissipate, but also what happens is the fables we've been telling ourselves, which is that we don't know, starts to crack up and break away. And then often we find either what's in the way of clarity, which is underneath that, or the clarity will just present itself. So they'll say, "Oh, well, I really want to do this because I think that my dad would be really proud of me." And
mhm,
then there may be a reframing of that goal after they get to the true clarity about why they want what they want. But oftentimes, what they'll say is, um, I actually do know, but I don't think that it can really happen.
mm.
And then that leads to the next level of healing. So getting clarity is absolutely essential. And you're the only one, you listeners out there, who can get clear about what it is that you're looking to create in your life. And so if it's muddled, then sometimes that's something you put aside and you focus on creating something else, or you really drill down to what's underneath it. So that's the first thing. The second thing, which is really the most important thing I'm probably going to talk about today, is focus. Our attention is our greatest currency. This has always been true throughout all of history. We're just seeing it differently because of technology now.
And
And
as you say that, I just wanna like, there's something that came up recently. Someone in a marketing context was saying, "Attention is the bottleneck," because we have so much
oh,
stuff coming at us in that particular way. So continue with what you're saying.
yeah, our challenges to focus feel very modern, but it being our currency is the way that it always has been. And our ability to focus our attention on where we want it to go affects absolutely everything. Our health, our relationships. When I am working with couples, they come to me with complaints about attention. She forgot my birthday. He, didn't show up when he said he was going to. He's looking at his phone when I'm trying to have a conversation with him.
Right.
These are the things that, because what that says is the other person feels not important, not seen, not heard. And yet we are driven to distraction, title of a famous book in which I diagnosed myself with ADD when I was in my 20s. I call myself the ADD OG. I've been knowing that I've had this for a very, very, very long time. we are being driven to distraction in ways we never have before. And so, one of the things that I talk about in my book, Manifesting, is using your phone for yourself instead of against yourself. I really believe that people are beginning to have codependent relationships with their phones. They're literally, people are talking to me about their phones as if they would talk about a codependent relationship.
Right.
Like they're powerless over it. It's ruining their lives, but there's nothing that they can do about it. And I say, I own my phone. My phone does not own me. And so I use the phone. I use the phone for list making. Listen, I started making lists for myself when I was in first grade. I was probably the only first grader that had a little pocket pad in their thing with lists on it because I knew I couldn't figure out anything unless I wrote it down. So list making, using the timers on phones, are a really great way of directing our focus. And but we resist the habits that are good for us, right? We resist breaking up with the things that have an addictive control over us. And so tapping on that resistance, which is, I know I should be getting off my phone. I know I should be turning this off while I'm in the movies, but I don't want to. So this is really simple. I know this is good for me. I know that this would be really good for me, but I don't actually want to in this moment. Helps to break up those addictive tendrils that are running the show. And so it's really, really important that we use at least portions of our day to focus on where we want to go in all of the areas of our lives. And for some people, it's prayer and meditation and visualization, writing exercises. There's lots of different ways of doing it, and it's whatever works for each person's temperament and their learning styles. I do all of those things in various different ways, and I have to mix it up. I don't do the same thing every day, but I, at least once a day, spend time focusing on where I want my life to look and what I want that next level of creation to be. And so, and when we look at people of old, like the Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, where he interviewed people during the Great Depression, where there were people that were successful during the Great Depression. And so he went to those people and said, how are you successful? And he came up with a lot of concepts. Focus and spending time in imagination, imagining what you want, is really, really important. So what gets in the way of that? Being pulled in a lot of different directions, juggling responsibilities. Suddenly it's your visualization time and you find yourself on TikTok. It happens. Using tapping can break up that attention resistance that's grabbing at you and allow you to get really focused. Even if it's just for a couple of minutes, it makes an enormous difference.
So a couple of things inside of all of that. That first step, this idea about getting clear. I love that, like, as you were talking about that, you were talking about not being clear. And in that moment, the clarity I have is that I am not clear. And like acknowledging that I am not clear is actually me level setting to what is going on inside of that. And so simply acknowledging what is not working. I'm acknowledging I'm not focused. Well, it requires a moment of focus for me to recognize that I'm generally not focused. And so, and it's, a theme that has been running through the conversation so far is this idea of just like starting with what is. I'm starting with the place that I am not clear and I don't know what clarity is. And like just starting in that particular place. As you were talking about this distracted nature in our phone and all of that sort of stuff, I was chuckling. There was a time earlier this year where I was being super, super distracted. I was being super distractible. And when I was distractible, what I realized was I could not notice my sense of distraction, but I could notice the consequence of that distraction. So if I was looking at social media, if I was an online dating app, if I was in my inbox, or if I was in my news feed when I wasn't supposed to, that was the thing that became the notice. And so if I noticed one of the consequences, because I have to make rules for myself because I'm a 6-year-old and I give myself gold stars and I give myself high fives and that's the way I navigate the world. If I notice myself doing one of those things, my rule was I set my timer for 1 minute and I did 1 minute of wordless tapping. And there was an hour in which I did that 14 times in 1 hour. Now, at a certain point while I was doing that, I then put on my to-do list, it was now time for me to talk to my practitioner because if I was being distracted 14 times in 1 hour, there was obviously going on that was a little bigger than that.
Yeah.
But I like this idea of naming the thing that I'm doing that is the antithesis to the thing that I want to be doing.
Well,
Because yeah,
when we name it and we tap it, we can dissipate the shame
yeah,
around it. When
yeah.
I realized that attention deficit disorder was a thing and there was an actual book written about it, my shame about the things that I had judged myself for being lazy and not completing tasks was not true. I recognized that there was a reason why and that it was an actual thing and I could stop judging myself for it. Then I was able to get behind this neurodiversity and use it for all of the benefits that came with it. But I had to dissipate the shame first because as long as I was locked in shame, I was creatively blocked on all different levels.
Gene's favorite made up statistic 37% of my job is normalizing the human experience. Is listening to my clients talk about what's going on and going, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense because the subconscious mind. Oh, yeah, that makes so much sense because this history. Oh, yeah. And just like, yeah, oh, yeah, I know exactly what that's like because of what is going on. And being able to be in that circumstance where, like, recognizing what I'm like, we think we're special little snowflakes. And snowflakes are different. And they all happen to be water that is frozen in crystalline structure, and there's a lot of similarity to it. And there's so much similarity in our lived experience. It's the details and the accidentals that are the creative expression of who we are and our uniqueness in that particular way. But it's so easy for me to feel so othered. And when I feel othered, it's really hard for me to safely engage because what you're talking about, this sense of shame as I'm bumping into it, is overpowering. And like for me, there are very few emotions that I despise more than shame.
Yeah.
Shame, it's not that guilt is I did bad. Shame, I am bad. And that is just corrosive to my core. And yes, I will do all the self-soothing behaviors to not have to be able to be in that particular place. And so being able to soften that by acknowledging where I am, I can just see how that powerful that is.
Well, I had an experience of this recently. So I'm getting over both pneumonia and bronchitis, and it has been brutal. And I have an enormous tolerance for emotional pain. That's my wheelhouse. That's where I go with clients. I'm an emotional alchemist. There's nothing in that realm that scares me. Physical pain, not so much. That is definitely my Achilles heel. And so there were weeks in this where I just completely checked out
Mhm.
where I just was streaming from podcast to TV show because I couldn't actually physically stand being in the pain. And what happened was I found myself getting depressed. I haven't
Mhm.
been depressed in 25 years. And when that came up, when I was like, what is this feeling? I feel really off. Oh, wait a second. I remember you. I remember you from all the way back then. You're back. Wow, I'm going to have to do something differently. And so it forced me to pull my focus from all these external stimuli in which I was distracting myself back within to look at what was going on inside of me. And after that, I started to get better. So there you go, right? Soon as I started journaling about my experience, as
Mhm.
soon as I started tapping on what was happening, I immediately could feel this shift that happened within me, and the physical condition then began to change. So, we like to compartmentalize, but we are not compartmentalized beings. We are these complex systems in which all of the pieces are connected. And so, if we're shutting down one part of ourselves, we are creating roadblocks in every single area for us. So I totally get it. And I was for a while relieved. I was like, "Oh, I can just sort of check out, right? And just be in whatever I'm watching or whatever I'm listening to and not fully be here." But it really, really, really cost me. And what I recognize is that there are so many of us that are living in that shut downness, that are going from stimuli to stimuli to stimuli, and they've lost connection with their own selves. And as soon as we can come, and tapping is one of the best ways of doing that. Soon as we can come back into here, something begins to change. And then we get the clarity. And then suddenly we're able to focus. And then suddenly we're recognizing why we want what we want and what we need to do to get it. Right. And the resistance can start to fall away.
So we recognize our lack of clarity. We start to find our way to recognizing when we're ejecting from all of that. We're being present to where we are. What does the process look like after that? Like, what is, as we're kind of like going down this path, where are we heading next?
I think it's really important for people to become conscious and aware about how and who they're sharing their dreams and goals with.
Hmm. Yeah.
So this is also something where people are just throwing them out there, sharing it with everyone, putting it on
Yeah.
social media. It's really important that an idea be incubated, like a baby is incubating in the womb, like a seed is incubating under the soil and growing its root system. It's really important that the energy of a goal or a dream be really contained, particularly when you may be feeling a little vulnerable or doubtful about it. You're not sure you can pull it off yet, especially so. And so it's really imperative that we control who we share it with, and that we share it with people that we really fully believe can be supportive of it, that can believe in the possibility of it, that can be encouraging of it. Then that increases the nucleus of the energy. And then the energy begins to expand as the dream begins to expand. If you share it with people that are projecting their own insecurities on you, filled with their own doubts and fears, feel threatened that you're trying to create something that they think may pull you away from them, then that actually is like popping the balloon of this thing that you're incubating.
And I really want to underline that because, like, I think one of the tenets that runs through the transformational space that I think is a really good tenet is this idea that we are striving to be our authentic selves, and we're striving to be honest. And me striving to be my authentic self does not mean that I am sharing every single part of my authentic self with every single person all of the time. And I think it's important for it to hear out loud what you're saying there, because it's really easy for me to fear that I am being dishonest because I am not sharing this thing that I'm working on, or I'm not sharing this dream, or I'm not sharing this thing that I'm working towards. When, you know, there, like, it's okay for me to recognize time and place and venue inside of that particular thing, because, like, there was a, I don't even know if you were in the city when this happened. There was about 15 years ago, there was an off-Broadway show called Title of Show. And the reason why it was called Title of Show is because that's the first line you write on an application to get into one of the theater festivals. And so it was a musical about trying to get a musical on Broadway. Of course, we were going in that metal place. And one of my favorite songs from the show is called Die Vampire Die. And what it's about is it's about all of the creative and emotional vampires we have in our life. And it
Mhm.
goes through family members who don't get the vision, and people who want to put us into a box, and just like, and I love this analogy of it being this vampire, where, to go back to your analogy to popping that particular balloon, like, like, there is a difference between what a soap bubble can take and a balloon can take. There's a difference between what a balloon can take and a basketball can take. Like,
True.
all three of those are vulnerable to puncture, but I can bounce a basketball on the street and not worry about it. I can throw a balloon in the air. I can't touch a soap bubble. And so I really like this idea of giving ourselves permission to incubate it to a place that it has enough sturdiness for the audience that we are sharing it with next as we're investigating this thing, and recognizing I'm not being inauthentic. I'm not being dishonest. I'm not living my true self because I am not sharing my dreams with everybody around me, because I need to have a firm place to stand to be able to do that particular thing. And so I love how you're giving us permission to know it's okay for this to be an incubation as I'm working on it.
Well, when I got my first book contract, I mean, it really came out of absolutely out of the blue. I had
Mhm.
not Somebody came to me from St. Martin's Press and were like, "We want you to write a book for us. Oh, but by the way, you're gonna have to do it in 6 weeks." And I found myself saying, "Yeah, I can write 35 to 40,000 words in 6 weeks." I had no idea how many words that was.
Mhm.
I said, "Yes," and then I went completely numb for 2 weeks. So I wrote most of the book in the last 10 days. I wrote from 9 in the morning till 9 at night, and my fingers were on fire. During that 6 weeks, I only told one person. It
Yeah.
was my mom, and the only reason why I told her is because she's always convinced that me being an entrepreneur means I'm gonna end up living in a cardboard box on the side of the road. So I
Right.
figured this would alleviate some of her mom anxiety. "Mom, it's working out. I got a book contract, okay?" So that's the only reason why I told her, and she's not usually good with keeping a secret, but this one she did. And I did not tell anyone. I didn't know
Yeah.
if I could pull it off. I had no idea what I had even agreed to. I was completely overwhelmed with the inner critic was like screaming at me from all directions, and I just had to plow through and see if I could get it done. And then once it submitted the manuscript on time, all 38,442 words, and pulled it off. I didn't know that until that morning that I had actually pulled it off because I wrote several different documents in true ADD fashion. But it was very important. I knew immediately I needed to hold this here. First of all,
Mhm.
it's been my childhood dream to write a book since I was 8. This was a long time coming. I felt incredibly vulnerable, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And so then when I actually was in the act of pulling it off and it was really real and I could believe that it was actually going to happen, I got to tell people one at a time or at a dinner party and do it in a way that I was sure within myself about this, and now I could share it with others.
And so then, as we are then in that process of moving through and giving ourselves permission to incubate and navigate that sort of stuff, then as it is starting to solidify and be a little sturdier under its own legs, what does the process then look like?
Well, this is the hardest part. This is where we
Yeah.
go into aspects of surrender. So I mentioned that little seed that had the roots growing in it. Oftentimes, we're looking too quickly for evidence that something is happening.
Mhm.
And so it's like digging up the seed and being like, "Is anything happening here?" Right? It disrupts the creative process. So it's imperative that some part of that incubation, when we've done what is ours to do, we've gotten clear, we've worked on our own self-doubts, we've dissipated our fears around this, we are using our focus. There just comes a certain time where you cross over a line and you've got to let it grow. There is no pregnant woman ever who's had to look down at her abdomen and say, "Now it's time to create your eyes. Now it's time for the ears," right? The creative process is often running, okay?
Yeah.
And when you talk to creatives, they often talk in mystical terms, even people that are not mystics in any way. There's the magic that shows up. Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. That's a quote from Pablo Picasso. You show up, and then inspiration shows up. And so if you are too micromanaging the process, inspiration can't flow through. So tapping allows us to grow in patience. right? So we get to tap on, is anything happening yet? I don't see any evidence. I don't know if this is really working, right? All of those things that come up. And the longer we tap on that, the space between the thoughts, the space between the questioning grows. And in that spaciousness is patience. And in that spaciousness, we can move into letting go of the how. Right, we're very, very consumed with how, particularly the intellectuals that I work with, the engineers that I work with, they live in the how, that's what they do. They're the ones that take a radio and they take it apart and look at all the parts and they know how it works, right? Those people in particular, very difficult with letting go of the how, and I have to say to them, there is something greater at you that is at work within this. You don't have control over the doors that are gonna open. You don't have control over every reader that's going to pick up your book. You don't have control over the outcome of what this is. It's not even possible. So when the questioning comes up, well, I don't know how this could possibly happen and how is it going to land in the right, hands and how are these doors going to open for me? Those are the things that you tap on until you can move into letting go. Because when we hold on to things, when we clench things very, very tightly, we strangle the life force out of that very thing that we're looking to live. That is why when you hear actors talk about, oh, I didn't think I was going to get that part, so I just totally winged it in the audition process, and that's the part that they get. They were in a state of detachment, but it's
And
hard to detach from the things that we want so badly.
and I think, like, for me, like, my internal vocabulary as a computer scientist, as someone who's super intellectual, like, the thing that I'm constantly trying to balance is, do I have an agenda or do I have an outcome? And the difference is the outcome is the fruit, the agenda is how I get from here to there. And whenever I am locked in on an agenda on how I solve a tapping problem, how I create something new, how I'm going to get from here to there, like, it's not like I'm not planning at all. But if I am locked into the agenda, then I am missing the things that are going on around me. So much so when I'm doing creative processes, I do what I call 15-1 tapping, where I work for 15 minutes and then I tap for 1 minute,
Mm.
just so that I just get back out and, like, and I have a little app on my phone where I've set up little timers where it can go for an hour and a half, and it literally counts down 15 minutes, then it immediately counts down 1 and immediately counts down 15 minutes. And when I'm working on something, it goes off and I just stop and I just give myself permission to just let go for a moment and put myself back in my body, take a breath and step back into it. Because, like, for me, it's two. One, I can get really attached to the way I think it's supposed to be. And two is, as I'm working, my resource state is diminishing. And as my resource state diminishes, because I'm spending energy, I am more likely to fall into old patterns and I'm less likely to be open, like you're talking about. And so by tapping every 15 minutes, I am, like, instead of going this downward slope over 90 minutes, I'm going down and then I pop back up. And then I go down and I pop back up and I go down and I pop back up. And so I never drop below a certain level resource state wise, because I know the more resourced I am, the less, because my agendas show up to keep me safe. Well, if I can just control the way I do it, I'm going to get there. And my safety mechanism is going to win the more diminished my resource state is. And when I'm able to step out of it, it makes it easier for me to do exactly that.
When I'm feeling clenchy, I walk and tap.
Mhm.
So I'm coming out of a homolateral pattern, right? So I'm crisscrossing my energy field over, which is really important to bring in new neural pathways. And I just tap on all the ways I think it's supposed to work, and all the ways that I want it to, and all the ways that it's supposed to look like, and all the ways it can't possibly happen. And within 5 minutes, usually at this point, all of that dissipates and there is this deep feeling of surrender. And then I tap, which is the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is to increase my trust.
Mhm.
To increase my trust in my ability to be a creative force in the world. I have lots of evidence now that I can turn to, that I can look at and say, there was this thing that did not exist and I made that. And now it is here and it is out in the world. And so I have a lot of evidence to speak to my logical left brain side. But in that place of serenity, often what it feels like is enormous relief. It
Yeah.
feels like it just feels like a huge exhale when I am getting out of the way of the universe and simply allowing that creative force to flow. It can feel very blissful. It can feel um, like I feel connected to something that's greater than myself. I recognize my connection with everything that's all around me, that thing that I cannot see. I mean, that's what happened for me during COVID as I went through like a 6-week long mystical experience where I went out and I walked and I could feel like I was one with the concrete and the trees and everything around me. It was the most incredible experience I've ever had. And so I get to regain that when I just tap on my clenching of trying to make it happen and allow and
And,
allow and allow and allow.
and I think there are two things that there are two consequences to the clenching. One is when I am clenched, it's hard for me to be supple. It's hard for me to pick up. It's hard for me to do all of those things. But the other thing I think, and I think we talk about that a lot. I think the other thing that comes from clenching is we don't recognize how much energy it costs us to clench.
Yeah.
So, in addition to me being stiff and rigid and not being able to be responsive to the world, I'm spending this huge amount of energy as I'm holding that particular posture so that if something shows up, so that if I break through and let go of that clenching for a moment, I'm less capable because I just spent all of this energy going like this, trying to navigate my way through something in that particular way. And so, like, giving ourselves permission, like, not only does it make it me more supple and receptive, it also means that I have more resources when I'm supple and receptive, so that when inspiration, when opportunity, when serendipity, when coincidence, when luck, when whatever
Exactly.
whatever the thing is that it is there, like I grace is not doled out like Halloween candy. I am swimming in grace, and sometimes I get out of my way enough to access the grace that I am swimming in. And
Yes.
when I'm tight and when I'm tense and when I'm worried and when I'm agenda driven, like, I don't recognize the grace that I am swimming in.
And how often the very outcome that we think that we are trying to create shows up in some different form, far better than we could have ever expected. I always wanted to write books. I just figured I was going to self-publish. And now I'm in negotiations for my fourth book contract with one of the top 5 publishers in the world. That was not on my list. That wasn't what I was trying to create. It didn't even seem possible to me. And yet here I am living it far better than what I could have ever expected. And frankly, as an ADD person, having a boss and deadlines has been a very good thing. So somebody knows me far better than I even know myself. So they would never get done if I didn't have a boss telling me you got to submit this at a certain time. So it's all worked out far better than I could have ever planned. And there's so many aspects of my life that look different than the way that I thought that they were going to. And yet they are infinitely just better, feel more like a fit. And it's only when I'm in those states, it's only when I'm in that apartment, it's only when I'm in that situation that I'm like, oh yeah, this is better than I could have ever planned. This is far better than what I could have ever tried to create myself. It's only within the surrender, the looseness, that that's been able to show up like that for me.
One of the lines that I include in all of my intercessory prayers is, bring this to me in a way that is so wacky, I know your hand is involved.
Oh, it's great.
Like
That's
like like
fantastic.
I'm dim, and I'm dim in recognizing things, and I'm really competent. I'm really comfortable in my competency. And I am very, very good at mistaking co-creation as creation. And
Mm,
so for me, like every single piece of an intercessory prayer for me is about me and my disposition. It's not about the supernatural. And so bring this to me in a way that is so wacky, I know your hand is involved, is like leaning directly into what you're talking about here. It's like I'm gonna I'm Don't throw feathers, throw elephants. Like, I am dim, bring it to me in a way that I can't miss what's going on, so it's easier for me to embrace that particular thing.
It's Yeah, because what it is then, it's not even about what we're creating. It is about our connection
Yeah,
with the all of the all, the I am, the all that is, whatever anyone wants to call it, right? It's in that moment that I recognize, oh, this is really great, but what's really great is that I'm known, I'm loved, I'm being provided for, I'm being uniquely, divinely supported in all things. And that is the foundation of my life now.
that's
And
awesome.
that makes everything else possible.
Well, we have 10-ish minutes left. Would
Let's
you
do
be
some.
willing to lead us in some tapping and reinforcing and
I
giving
would
us a
love that.
chance to engage some of this stuff?
Yes, absolutely. So I'd love everybody who's listening out there to think of something that you've been trying to create, manifest a goal that hasn't happened yet. So,
Mhm.
and have that in mind as you tap along with us. Okay. So, even though this thing that I really, really, really want
Even though this thing that I really, really want
hasn't happened yet,
has not happened yet,
for just right now,
for just right now,
I'm being open to getting clear,
I'm being open to getting clear,
focused,
focused,
patient,
patient,
and letting go of what's beyond me.
and letting go of what's beyond me.
Even though it's been hard that I haven't been able to create this yet,
Even though it's been hard that I haven't been able to create this yet.
for just right now, I recognize I'm not creating alone,
For just right now, I recognize the fact that I'm not creating alone,
that I am doing this
that I am doing this
with the creator
with the creator
and creation itself.
and creation itself.
So it's okay to let the pressure go.
So it's okay to let the pressure go.
Even though I want this and it hasn't happened yet.
Even though I want this and it hasn't happened yet.
And there's times I get discouraged and frustrated.
And there are times that I get discouraged and frustrated.
For just right now,
For just right now,
I am recognizing
I am recognizing
that there is so much creative potential within me. And I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is happening.
it's all good.
Okay.
Mike Ferraro,
Hold on.
FaceTime video.
Hold on. I'm so incredibly, incredibly sorry about this.
It is what it is.
I have no idea. It's on silent. I don't even know why it's happening. Anyway, let me put on airplane mode. Okay. Excuse me, everyone. Family, they obviously don't know that I'm doing this right now. They should be.
Absolutely.
They should be on here listening. Why aren't they? Instead of calling. For just right now,
For just right now,
I am being present
I am being present
with all that I feel about this,
with all that I feel about this.
and I'm being open to a brand new way of being.
And I'm being open to a brand new way of being.
Okay, let's come up. All this frustration.
All of this frustration,
Every time I've been unclear.
every time I've been unclear,
All the I don't knows.
all of the I don't knows,
Oh, in there for myself. All the ways I say I don't know.
all the ways I say I don't know,
All the ways I get in my own way.
all the ways I get in my own way,
Collarbone. All the ways I'm holding on too tightly.
all the ways I'm holding on too tightly,
All the ways I doubt this possibility.
all the ways I doubt this possibility,
All the ways this has eluded me.
all the ways this has eluded me,
All the things I've told myself
all the things I've told myself
about why this hasn't happened yet.
about why this hasn't happened yet,
All the things I've made up.
all the things I've made up,
All the meaning that I have given it.
all the meaning I have given it,
all the ways I've let go of control
all the ways that I've let go of control
of the very thing that is mine to do.
of the very thing that is mine to do,
All the ways I've been distracted
all the ways I've been distracted
and pulled in different directions.
and pulled in different directions,
All the ways I've been distracted.
all the ways that I have been distracted.
There's more and more new ways every day.
There are more and more new ways every single day.
All the things I forget
All the things I forget
to do when I most need to do them.
to do when I most need to do them.
All the ways doubt.
All the ways of doubt.
Doubt has been integrated into all of this.
Doubt has been integrated into all of us.
Yeah. So for just right now,
For just right now,
I'm untangling that doubt
I'm untangling that doubt
from this dream.
from this dream.
I am remembering
I am remembering
that the biggest part of this process
that the biggest part of this process
isn't up to me.
isn't up to me.
It's my job to get clear,
It's my job to get clear,
to focus,
to focus,
to share this dream
to share this dream,
with people who will treat it with tenderness and care.
who will treat it with tenderness and care.
And then I let go.
And then I let go.
I allow this to incubate.
I allow this to incubate.
I allow it to form and grow roots.
I allow it to form and grow roots.
And I feed the seed of this dream
And I feed the seed of this dream
by believing in possibility,
by believing in possibility,
by letting go of what it needs to be,
of letting go of what it needs to be,
or what I think it should be,
or what I think it should be,
and allowing the creative process
and allowing the creative process
to do its perfect work.
to do its perfect work.
There's more than me here.
There is more than me here.
This dream realized
This dream realized
benefits more than just me.
benefits more than just me.
So I am open
So I am open
to growing my patience,
to growing my patience,
to stretching my faith
to stretching my faith
of what's possible,
of what's possible,
and growing my trust
and growing my trust
in the creative force of all that is.
in the creative force of all that is.
I am recognizing
I am recognizing
that my desires came from somewhere.
that my desires came from somewhere,
Yeah. And that maybe what I've been seeking
and maybe what I've been seeking
has also been seeking me.
has also been seeking me.
Yeah. It's safe to let go.
It is safe to let go.
It's safe to trust.
It is safe to trust.
It's safe to allow.
It is safe to allow.
It's safe to be open.
It's safe to be open.
It's safe to grow my potential
It's safe to grow my potential
in co-creating
in co-creating
and giving birth
and giving birth
to projects,
to projects,
abundance,
abundance,
happiness,
happiness,
and a more evolved me.
and a more evolved me.
Yeah. Because that's really what this is all about.
Because that's what this is really all about.
About me becoming more of what I came here to be.
For me becoming more of what I came here to be.
And being in service.
And being in service.
To all of humanity.
Of all of humanity.
By trusting in this.
By trusting in this.
I am more than this body.
I am more than this body.
I am more than this brain.
I am more than this brain.
I am an individual wave.
I am an individual wave.
Of the ocean of the universe.
Of the ocean of the universe.
A universe that's filled with possibility.
A universe that is filled with possibility.
And so many miracles.
And so many miracles.
And so all that is available through the universe.
And so all that is available through the universe.
Is available right here and now.
Is available right here and right now.
Through me.
Through me.
Through my goals and dreams.
Through my goals and my dreams.
And my openness.
And my openness.
To trusting the flow.
To trusting the flow.
I am a part of this good.
I am a part of this good.
And I am embracing it now.
And I'm embracing it now.
Nice deep breath, everybody.
I don't know if you remember our buddy Alan Davidson.
Yes, I do. I think of
when I would tap with Alan, I'd say, take a nice big deep breath and shake. And even though he was in Houston, Texas, the entire earth vibrated when he shook off a round of tapping.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, he was something.
Awesomeness. Well, excellent, Kriss. As always, thank you. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your time, your giftedness. Know that I'm continuing to send you all the good healing vibes so you can get on the other side of all of this stuff.
I truly appreciate it. Big love to everybody out there. Please support Peaceful Heart Network. I think all of us have had experiences where we see a tragedy happening and we think, well, what can I do? Right. And so often what we do is we donate money, which is great. But Ulf and Gunilla have really created something extraordinary. And I absolutely believe 100% in their vision and their integrity and all of the incredible miracles that they have helped birth all over. So please support as much as you can. This is the real deal.
Awesome. Thanks, Kriss. I will talk to you soon.
And thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation. As you look at the screen right now, you can see a link to the entire playlist of every single conversation. For previous 24 hours of tapping, there are over 120 presentations waiting for you. And please consider supporting the amazing work of the Peaceful Heart Network.